Mina's like talking about like the importance of bilingual stories. I want to talk to you about slasher films. There's all kinds of things that are part of our lives. Okay, so every year, my daughter and I spend October watching as many spooky movies as we can. Some are classics like The Addams Family, Nightmare Before Christmas, that we watch every year. Some are movies we've been meaning to watch, like Happy Death Day or Abigail. And some are totally random finds, something from Halloween or some HBO playlist. And this year, we stumbled across a movie called Slaughterhouse. Has anyone else seen this movie, Slaughterhouse? No? Shocking. This movie is about a sloth who is poached from the rainforest and ends up living in a sorority house where the sloth becomes a serial killer in true slasher form. Like the bloodiest, gruesomest, most ridiculous deaths you can imagine. The sloth is so remarkably good at doing things like using social media, ordering Ubers, and electrocuting a whole bunch of sorority girls taking a shower together. At one point in the bloodbath, my daughter turned to me and said jokingly, "You got lucky, Mommy, that could have been you." Not because I was ever in a sorority, I'm a lesbian. That would be a good reason to be in a sorority. But because I used to have a pet sloth. The sloth, or slob as my sister named him, was one of a menagerie of pets that came through my house when I was a child because my parents were unhinged. My dad had a weird knack for acquiring random animals, some of which were more normal than others: dogs, cats, rabbits, turtles, fish, and some of which turned out to be food, like cuys, which are known to Americans as guinea pigs, and also a very angry turkey he brought home. It lived in our courtyard for a few weeks and terrorized me and my sister every time we tried to cross to the rest of the house. Finally, my parents got it drunk on raisins soaked in whiskey, and my dad killed it with a machete, and the next day we had turkey for dinner. I'm a vegetarian now. Of course, we had a sloth. The sloth's mother had been killed by loggers chopping down trees, and my dad bought the baby from a man selling it on the side of the road. My mom and my sister were instantly in love with Slob, though to be honest, I found him cute but kind of boring. Unlike the serial-killing sloth in Slaughterhouse, and despite their giant claws, sloths hold up to their reputations as pretty slow, sleepy creatures, content to just hang on your body or a tree or the network of rope vines my mom strung all over our living room. She did not seem to care at all about where the sloth would go to the bathroom, and neither did the sloth, which kind of peed and pooped as it slowly crawled across our ceiling. I'm telling you this, Carla, in case you are ever thinking of trying to adopt a sloth, because whether they are serial killers or serial poopers, they don't make great pets. The arts also aren't suited to the climate in Quito, where we lived. Ecuador has amazing biodiversity: coasts, deserts, rainforests, and volcanic mountains, where the temperatures are kind of like our temperatures today: cold at night, cool during the day. And I came home one day to the sad news that the sloth had been sent somewhere warmer. But I knew this was just a variation of sending a dog to a farm. Sloth had contracted pneumonia and passed away. But unfortunately, this didn't dissuade my parents from adopting more inappropriate pets. My mom rushed into the living room one day and announced excitedly, "Your dad is bringing home a llama." For non-Spanish speakers, that's a llama. Apparently, a mountain lion had killed its mother, and the rangers needed someone who could bottle feed it until it was old enough to wean. I don't even know how my dad knew these rangers, but he drove up with a llama in the back of his truck. We named the llama Colon and made a little home for him in the back, bottle feeding him a few times a day. Apparently, this is so true, guys, the filmmakers who made Slaughterhouse also made a film called Llamageddon. Quote, vengeful llama from outer space lands on Earth and brings death and destruction to everyone in its path. I've never seen that movie, and despite Colon just being a regular Earth llama, I'm pretty sure it is way more realistic than Slaughterhouse, because Colon lived up to his namesake and was an absolute terror. For one, llamas are kind of like goats, so they chew on everything. Plants, clothes, books, leaving behind bright green spit stains on the remains. One time Colon got a hold of my homework and chewed half of it while I yelled for my mom to help me get it out of his mouth. She sent me to school with a little plastic baggie of chewed up pulp, because what teacher in their right mind would believe the excuse the llama ate my homework? Worse than that, the llama had a grudge against my 2-year-old brother Tomas. Anytime Tomas set foot in the yard, the llama would turn his head, look at him, run to knock him over, turn around, knock him over again, turn around, knock him over again, like just completely aplastándolo. My favorite family photos are a series where my brother runs towards the camera, held by his mother, and the llama is just closer and closer to him until the last photo is my brother flat on his face and the llama getting ready to turn around. Terrible sister, but honestly, that was my favorite thing. It's not that I hate animals. I have 2 dogs, but I also kind of prefer to stay away from them. Like I said, the incidents with the turkey and the Coyas and the rabbits, that's a story for another time, turned me into a lifelong vegetarian. The sloth reminded me that adapting to new habitats is incredibly hard. And the llama reminded me that big, beautiful brown eyes might be hiding a terrible, homework-eating, clothes-destroying, brother-smashing power. And this is why the next Halloween movie on my list is, I am not making this up, a film called Alpacalypse. Wants us to do our self-promotion, so I'll tell you that I have the great honor of being with a theater company called Free Street Theater. We have a space in back of the arts at 47th and Ashland, and we are in the middle of a run of a show called Rest Reposo. It's a totally bilingual show about resting and resisting capitalism and this idea that our work is our worth. And you get to watch it while you lie down on a bed, and there's a nap halfway through the performance. So that's my pitch. Check it out at freestreet.org, and thank you very much.